That would be ridiculous. Oh, here we go.
We're on. We're all here.
We're all here.
Together.
Exactly.
Bonus content. Three times bonus content.
Even easier.
Willow be ringing and complaining, though, that we're all here.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Retrek. I'm Captain Jim, and with me in person are Admiral Elliot, hi there, and Dr. Squee, and
LLAP Dragon, Dragon,
and Lieutenant Hedgie.
Hello, my combat is loose.
Which, for anyone who's listening on the audio, is a small hedgehog who's joining us for the season finale of Strange New Worlds called Hegemony, or
Hegemony.
Hegemony. I think it's Hegemony.
I think it's Hegemony. I think it's Hegemony.
I think it's Hogmanay. It's the New Year celebrations in Scotland.
I read it as Hegemony.
Okay, I'm just pronouncing
Hegemony doesn't sound right.
Hegemony.
Hegemony.
Hegemony
sounds right.
Hegemony, okay.
Welcome to pronunciation of the episode title with Retrek.
And the reason we're all sat together is because we're in an Airbnb in Birmingham, about a 5-minute drive from the Birmingham Metropole, the site of Destination Trek, where we will be doing a live show tomorrow at 10 o'clock. For anyone listening not live, we'll have done a live show at 10 o'clock on the Saturday morning at Destination Trek. So we're looking forward to that.
And for anybody watching who's going to be there, you will find out why I have got purple hair in a couple of hours.
There you go.
And this is going to be the best version of the Top Trumps that we've done yet. It's going to be really fun. We've come up with some loads of really great old bits for it. Got some people joining us on stage, a little bit of surprise here and there.
We got a little spinner.
Got a spinner. I mean, it's all kicking off, basically, is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's going to be good.
We're launching all our merch this weekend.
All our merch is coming, which you can see some examples.
Can you pass me this one, though?
Oh, yeah, we got badges.
Actually,
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, Hedgie's going to put his on right now.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, what's that, Hedgie? You want to save for later? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'd be interested to see how you're going to put the badge on the hedgehog while you've got your hand up its ass and your other one in a sling. But
he was going to do it himself.
Of course he was, yeah. Anyway, let's talk about Strange New Worlds, since that's kind of what we're here for.
Yeah.
So the season finale then, as we all expected, the Gorn came back and stuff went down.
Although the one thing that didn't go down, which you were predicting, and not in a sexy way, was the Captain Pike's, the other Captain.
Yeah, Captain Battelle. Yeah. He's not dead at time of recording.
And I did say if she was going to be, it would be the end of the episode. So I think you called that it was going to. You sort of called that she was going to be in jeopardy, but I said it was going to be. I thought her death was going to be what was going to be Pike's next thing was going to be mourning her the next series, but. Yeah,
I thought she were a goner. I didn't think she'd make it.
Yeah, she's it's touch and go, but we'll get to that.
We will.
As a broad point, can I ask, is it just me, or has Pike's accent got progressively more like Wisconsin? Is that like whatever it is? It's getting more. It sounds a bit more Kennedy, like John Kennedy.
It's maybe reverting more. As he's getting comfortable in the role, reverting to his own accent.
That's why I think it is. It's his own. Yeah, if you listen to the early ones, I swear it just sounds a bit more there.
Yeah, he's getting relaxed in role. Yeah. He's just talking as him.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit like Marina Sirtis did.
Well, she was put through like a million different voices over the course of that.
And they got to the films and were just doing normal voice. We can't be bothered
Even
anymore.
then, I think it's like she was putting on a little bit, but now she's like, "Oh, sorry, you want Marina, you get Marina."
Yeah.
This is me.
Yeah.
So we start off then, and we've got the Cayuga goes to this planet, and there's this lovely sort of call back to the original series, like, oh, it's one of these planets that's based on a Midwestern town
in America.
And it's obviously because in the original series they used whatever standing sets were there anyway.
Well, whatever was being filmed at the studio,
Yeah.
they go use that lot. So you got Nazi Germany because we're busy shooting a war movie. You got them in a cowboy town because they're busy shooting a western and stuff. So they repurposed the same set. You just went on and shot something else on the same set.
They got so much texture out of that as well. And it's like in this one, but obviously it was also, it's like, well, we've got an episode where we've got to use quite a lot of CGI budget. How do we save some money?
But it's how they used to make the shows so cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
You can watch shows from the 60s and 70s, and there'll be loads of different shows if you watch closely that are all on the same set. And it's because you do build your big sets for movies, but you can build sets like that for a TV budget. You got your set ones, and that was it.
Well, it's like the clock tower from Back to the Future has been in loads of things.
That set has been used. Yeah, it was a Ghost Whisperer for quite a few years, but it's been in loads of other movies.
Yeah, it were in Buffy. It was the town in Gremlins, which I didn't realise for years. But I think it's nice that now canonically it's we get these little planets and they go, let's model it on.
We're building from scratch. What did we like?
Yeah,
that looks like a nice picture from a book from 300 years ago.
Exactly.
But, I bet you with this one they've just gone, it's like, there are towns in America which still look like that. So
that's the whole point. You just go film there.
Yeah, and it leads to a brilliant order from Pike, which is like, quickly to the barber shop.
Now that's because he's still got last episode in his head, and he wants to have barbershop quartet.
That's it.
Although, I mean, that ensign at the beginning is there. It's like she's going. It's like she's going to. She says his name like 3 times, like ensign, and she's like,
just.
Fire him straight away.
Fair, that's a big but gone ship though.
Yeah, it is still.
You would be nipping a little bit.
But I might say it's like.
But I think it's also because he's an ensign and not used to being in them sort of situations. Because he's probably too young as an ensign to have been in Klingon War. He's probably come through after the Klingon War, one of those replacements, so he hasn't had any war experience. And they lost a lot of people in Klingon War, so there's probably rushed some people through as well.
Yeah, and I suppose even though it seems like a cliche, just because it's been done in movies so many times, there is an actual thing of someone freezing and not being able to speak. So it's like, it's basically a real thing. I just think because it's a real thing, it gets done quite a lot. I always scream on TV, just fucking say anything. It gets frustrating as a viewer, even though it is real to life.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to people freezing with indecision when we get to the very end of the episode. But so then, after the credits, the cube has been destroyed. And I quite liked the debris field and having the saucer section destroyed and everything. Yeah. You know what would have been cool though? What they could have done to get a bit of things that are sort of generally accepted as canon but we've never seen. We could have seen the battle and they could have detached the saucer section. I know they did it in Beyond, but
they did it.
That's Kelvin. So
they did it in. Is it Star Trek?
Star Trek Continues. They did it in
final episode.
The only thing I would say
is really nice if we could have got it.
Even though we know, because we know technical manuals, we know this. I think if you do it, it almost feels like you're cheating the original. Just for me, because it's like in the original series, there's so many situations where if they had the budget to do it, it would have been useful to do it.
The thing was with the TOS Enterprise, it needs a starbase to reconnect. It can't
it was
the last resort, sort of like
large
scale shuttle, basically, is the saucer.
But what about when they had the hand around the saucer section? They could have got rid of the saucer section.
Left the saucer?
I'm just saying, there's so many instances where it still would have been useful to do.
Would they have been able to evacuate everyone to the star drive section? Would it have been big enough in them days?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Whereas when we get onto TNG, when it'd been good to do a saucer separation when you're trying to fly into a big fucking Borg cube that's got loads of...
I mean, true enough, yeah, okay, yeah.
Anyway,
you're not wrong.
So the Gorn send them a transmission, and they draw a line, so going back to our Dominion War episodes, this is another the Federation starts a war episode, because the Gorn are drawing a line and saying
the Gorn have gone in, attacked this colony, taken the people prisoner, and then drawn a line afterwards and gone ours. And also, it's a bit like it's a bit like Captain Red Dwarf, isn't it? That he's going to go around with his spray, going mine.
Well,
mine.
You brought right into my point about Dominion, though. They've basically done that all over the Gamma.
Yes, but they're already established.
That
was their.
No, but they've taken over the whole world. Like just because they have Federation ones.
Yes, but the point is, the thing with the Dominion is, they've been established for thousands of years. They've had this,
so they can just take wherever they want then. Okay.
The point is,
that's my point.
The point is that the Federation has decided to go that there's a whole empire of Dominion worlds. Like the Dominion could look at it. Let's go free Vulcan from the Federation.
The
Vulcan have chosen to be the Federation. The other planets
the Dominion planets they chose.
Yeah, exactly.
They've all chosen.
But who's the one going chosen on Vulcan? No.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, join us when we come back for the Dominion War for more of that good stuff. So they draw the line.
Can I? Oh, just it was a more general point about the episode before we get to because this is where you start to get the more horror elements and jump scares and everything. I'm just going to say it now, and because I like this enough as an episode, an hour of TV. It was like you said, it's derivative of Alien and stuff, but it's like it doesn't. It starts to not feel Star Trek in place. Like straight up horror. Like the action isn't based around the people or the kind of I'm not saying it has to always be dare and do, but it's like what does it link back to, which is a Star Trek moral in this one? Do you know what I mean? It's all about the monsters, just monsters, and it's horror, and it's
It is.
Well, it's going in a way. Then you're going back to traditional thing where it's a monster of the week episode.
Which I wouldn't mind. That's what kind of we were built with. Strange New Worlds.
But then in the original, the whole thing with the Gorn was that they learned this respect for each other and everything.
Yeah.
So it was a monster.
Yeah, but we're before then now.
I know we're before then. But I do, I get where it's
probably going to go there.
Yeah.
But it's at the moment you're just having straight up horror movies whenever you put them on. And that doesn't feel very Star Trek. And just that as a central thing. The characters are all acting like Star Trek characters, but in a horror movie, which isn't what I go to Star Trek for personally.
I don't mind.
I don't mind. I quite like that. They feel comfortable enough that they can do different types of episodes. And I have no problem. I have no problem if they want to do a scary horror episode every now and again. I don't want all of my Star Trek to be horror episodes, but I have no problem whatsoever having a horror episode.
And that's a fair perspective. I'm just for me, musical, Western, whatever else. You can do so many different genres within Star Trek, and they're having so much fun with that. Just horror again, to me, it's I guess it's sort of and I know some Star Trek now is more geared towards adults, but this is one which feels like it could be a really great family one with very few changes, really.
Yeah.
And it's when they do this, it takes it so it's an 18 show.
And I think
why not open up to everyone if you
can? To be fair, nowadays it's a 12.
The difficult thing with that is talking about it from a. Not that I'm a parent, but you are talking about from a parental perspective, and if it's this is a family thing we watch, because you don't know what you're getting with Strange New Worlds. If you've got young kids, you'd probably have to watch it first. With TNG, for example, you could pretty much go, we can sit down as a family, first time watch it, it'll be fine.
Well, it's also because with TV back then, it was on a time slot.
True.
So if you've got a tea time show, you are not getting any mega violence, you're not getting swearing, you're not getting sexual content. But now we're on streaming services. They do get a rating at the beginning, and they do say what things come up, so it kind of gives even people why they're giving that away, so they can make a choice. You get an episode rating.
Yeah.
But I can see where it's nice to have series where it can be a family show. Prodigy was great for that way.
Prodigy was great for that. If only they'd not cancelled it.
Again, it's just where this this is so close to being family. Like there's some episodes even which all through feel like a family episode, and they'll just add the word "fucking" somewhere. It's like, what if you just changed that?
Strange New Worlds has not done that.
They do throw in some swears.
Strange
No, I'm not saying the word "fuck," but it's
I don't think they've done it as
I don't think
blatantly as what not Picard.
No, but there's a couple of times they just throw in a swear word. It's not made a big thing of, but it's just I think, oh, if we went for that, this could be a great family episode. You know, you have to really change.
That's what I'm saying. Is like you wouldn't be able to have that routine. Like it's Thursday, we're all going to sit down as a family and watch Strange New Worlds. Not this week. You're not little Timmy, I'm afraid, because it's a Dawn episode. And like Elliot said, I don't mind the idea of having, doing these different genres, doing a horror story. But I would like, if we're going to do the Gone, can it be less of an Alien rip-off? We've done it twice now. And, we'll talk about the scene a little bit later. But it's just the exact shot.
I think there are certain shows that go for different things. So Star Trek, it is a hopeful, inspirational look at the world. Doesn't mean you can't have dark times, but generally that's what it's airing towards. This is just dark horror, like Monsters. And again, we know they're going to turn that around at some point.
At the moment, also a two-parter.
It is a two-parter, yeah. You could argue Best of Both Worlds Part 1 ended on a pretty dark...
Yeah. But that was in a very PG way. It was.
Yeah. So Pike decides he's going to cross the line like all good captains do. And he gives the obligatory, I don't expect any of you to come with me, and everyone...
But I'm going anywhere.
And everyone comes with him, so...
And Spock and Data are interchangeable in these things.
And then you're on the ship.
But let's hear what the unemotional person thinks. To hell with orders. Let's go!
Yeah, they tick that box. It's like when you get a new Doctor Who, like a lot of them have said, I didn't feel like the Doctor till I fought the Daleks. And it's like, you're not a Starfleet captain until you've broken the orders and see if the crew are all right with it.
Yeah.
So Pike's got there. There's a great line from Spock during this bit where they're talking about zombie movies.
Yes.
And they say, what, you've never seen them? And he said, zombie? No. A movie, yes.
This is classic. I really like this and classic Spock moments here. This is where one more, like they do have emotion in this, but they have lots of classic, so you can see where he's going and where he is now.
Yeah.
Whereas like my complaint has mainly been that it's like when they do his emotions, they don't give us any nods to regional within it. And that's what I like. I don't mind seeing that they're in a different place, but I want to see where they're going.
Yeah, I
want to
like
feel
this.
familiar.
I thought that was very Spock. I could see Leonard Nimoy delivering that line.
There was even a moment where it's like he didn't do it like Leonard Nimoy, but he did it. It fits Spock perfectly because Leonard Nimoy is great at showing emotion without showing emotion. Like with the coldest line, you could feel an undercurrent. Like, and there's a moment where Ethan Peck, he's delivers lines very straight, but his eyes just water.
Yeah.
You can see just go slightly red. That's all it is. And I sort of wish they kind of cut it a little bit early because he says something like, all these things seem small in the face of death. What a great line. They should just cut it down and goes, and I want to apologise to her. It's like, you don't need that. You don't need him to say, you just said it in such a poetic way. And you sort of fucked it by adding a line after.
He's getting there, though. He's getting there.
Well, it's like if you said a famous last words, it's like, it is the greatest thing I do.
It's evolving.
I keep thinking it's Tuesday.
It's slowly evolving into Spock that we know from TOS.
Yeah, but like just...
Now, my question is, because I think my Star Trek memory's not bad, but you guys can help me out. Does Spock ever see a zombie?
What do they work?
I'm trying to think. I mean, in Spock's brain, arguably, he's a bit of a zombie.
Yeah, in Spock's brain, he's a zombie.
The people on the Landru planet are very zombie-like. Yeah. But I'm thinking, is there actually somebody dead gets reanimated that Spock sees, apart from himself in Search for Spock?
I don't think.
I don't.
But even if then, it's after this, so you know.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, does he ever get to the point that
he ever said it?
Like a ticket for boxes.
Yeah, so
maybe he just checks out the films.
Yeah, anyone who's listening, hit us up on the Facebook page. Does Spock ever meet an actual zombie? And if not, why not?
We've not got live chat up, so we can't see if anyone answers.
We haven't, but if it comes up, we'll see.
We've got the mouse.
I have got the mouse. We'll see. It gives you a notification if someone comments. So, yeah, Spock's, I'm going to scan for life on the thing, and it's not looking good. We're all, as Elliot, you've been talking about this, we're all very worried that Nurse Chapel has been taken from us prematurely.
This is really, really starting to annoy me. It's the second episode this season where Nurse Chapel is put in danger, and she's the focus of our jeopardy for the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen her throughout TOS. I know that she is fine.
She becomes an MD by the time of the motion picture.
It's like, if you want to put someone in jeopardy, pick Lan, pick Ortegas, pick one of the other characters that we've got to know, that we're getting to know and love them, but put them in the jeopardy. Because I don't know if they survive or not. I don't know what happens to them, because I know they're not there by TOS. But I don't know if they're transferred off the ship, if they get killed in summer or what. So put them people in jeopardy.
But Spock's not knobbing them.
But also, I mean, but it's like we would, because we try and save Fred, but we did talk a little bit about this. I was saying, if they want to do something really daring, have one of them get killed off, like actually dead, one of the legacy characters, and then have one of them from an alternate reality, like come in, do something really. So it's like, oh my god, I have it classified like they've done with Discovery, so they've got an excuse why it's never mentioned again.
Yeah,
that would be really cool. Like, do something really jarring that works with canon.
It would be a good twist. Or like, I think we've talked about it before. Do the Smallville thing and kill them off and replace them with the brother or whatever it is.
What's that? Kill them all and replace them with hedgehogs.
Oh,
okay. I mean, it's like,
that'd be interesting, Hedgie. I mean, I
think it might fuck with canon somehow. But I
suspect that's slightly self-serving. Man, if this actors' strike goes on much longer, it might be bloody hedgehogs acting out. And then they'll have to strike.
Now is our time.
By the way, I might sound like I'm being flippant about strike. I'm not. We completely support the strike. But yeah, it'd be like, we've just won all our rights against AI, and we didn't anticipate the rise of the hedgehogs. We've got to go on bloody strike again.
What's that? Apparently, we're all for a bit hedges against the strike because he hates unions. We don't agree with his political views.
Hedgie, that's why you're on very shaky ground.
Yeah.
What's that, Hedgie? He would like to make a public apology. The statement which he made earlier does not reflect who he is now.
Good. We're glad to hear it. And we want you to go and tell the actors that at the convention.
Hedgie will be on the picket lines tomorrow.
Yeah, next to Stephen Amell.
Yes.
And Robert Beltran. But we won't talk about him. Right. So
it just proves Katie knew what she was doing when she got it on with the monkey instead.
That's it. And the salamanders. Anyway, so the Gorn are acting unusually, and Pike, I've got this theory about Pike that I've sort of alluded to in previous weeks. I think what they're trying to do is introduce a bit of a character flaw in Pike, because when he came into Discovery, he was just this mountain of charisma, and we all fell completely in love with him, wanted him to get his own show. He got his own show. And it was just like he could be like the greatest Star Trek captain we've ever had.
Yeah.
And I feel like what they're doing subtly is introducing this thing that he's not maybe as perfect as he might seem to be. And I think we started that with last season's finale where we saw Balance of Power again. And it was...
Quality of Mercy.
Quality of Mercy. Yeah, was the name of the Strange New Worlds episode. Yeah. And... it showed Pike didn't do anything wrong, but it showed that in that particular scenario, his style led to a worse result. And I think a couple of times this season, they've had a lot of characters, and it happens again with Lan in this episode, talking to Pike and saying, you're very idealistic, you're very good at your speeches, you're very good at holding up Federation ideals. And I think what they're doing is starting to challenge, well, what if that doesn't work? What if you have to take a different approach?
And I did like that, because it's like, I said to you, it's like, I felt like, why is Pike pausing something? Like he did it in the Spock human episode.
Yeah.
When he was put on the spot, he did it about like, just, he could have come up with anything, and he just couldn't. And here, at the end of the episode, And yeah, your theory works brilliant, and I think they might be doing that, and I love it. Like now I really love that as an idea. It's like he is a great captain. It's just he is great in sense. He's the captain they needed in the situation Strange New Worlds got up to. He was lucky that he didn't get into more situations where battle like this, because he's good at stopping wars. He's not good at in them. Whereas Kirk's more of a kind of like a battle one. He's more of a maverick.
That's it, and like. I think like there is this conversation that he has with Lan where he's giving her a speech and she says, "Oh, you're very good at these speeches." And it does feel to me like within the text of the show, the other characters are starting to push back against it a little bit. Like I imagine they all look up to Pike, but I think they're starting to think, yeah, I love him, he's great, but is he the best for this situation? Yeah. And I think, I'm sure the answer will turn out to be, yes, he is. He's great. He's fantastic. But I like that we're doing this. It's something a bit different to do with a captain.
And to be fair, when we saw him in the cage, he was full of self-doubt.
He was,
Start of it.
Absolutely.
That's where he was, and
he's gone through quite a bit of shit since then. So,
although in his final moments before he gets into the action, he goes like. Right, I'm going to go into this action scene. I'm going to save these people, or may my face melt and I be able to only answer in one blink or two if I'm wrong.
But I'm still going to do it.
Yeah. So I like that we're going on a journey with him, and like the thing that prompted me to talk about that is like when they say they're acting strangely, Pike's like, "Oh, well, should we try and communicate with them?" And it's like, well, they're ripping people's heads off. Maybe not.
Well, maybe that's how it goes a piece, because he is the guy who goes towards that. That would actually be a really nice thing.
It would be.
Because he was the right man in this place, because he didn't just think strategically of winning the war, or he thought strategically more about about peace, about how do you win for everyone. And also, like now it does feed into when he dies, he was the guy who was decisive there.
Yeah.
So like all that indecision, it goes away in that one moment. He's like, he's reached it. He's complete as a captain.
Yeah.
In the one moment where he loses, ironically. Oh God, I can see it all. If they're not doing that now, then I hate it.
He knows what's going to happen to him in that situation.
Yeah, he does.
And he still faces.
Well, that's it. In a lot of ways, that takes more courage to do that. But
I'm sorry, writers, but if you don't do that now, you're wrong. I'm sorry, you just are. If this isn't where you're going.
But we don't expect a response until the conclusion of the strike, which we also support. So writers don't even think about it until that's done. I know
me especially, says Hedgie. These guys were saying some stuff before we got on it. Hedgie, no, we weren't.
We were late to the bandwagon. We've been trying to trick writers into writing shit ever since this thing began. We've been sending them they used to do at school, where you write the first paragraph, then you fold it over, and then you pass it to the next. But we've been trying to get them like that. We've been writing, and then the Enterprise goes to the planet, and then
take corruption out of Retrek. Vote Hedgie for president.
Yeah. So they follow this signal, and they meet Scotty, which was quite well under wraps.
Quite.
And I'm not even drinking yet.
Sorry, can they get Chekhov as well?
It's only my first
time.
Yeah. So we get Scotty, and I'm gonna go first. I really liked him. I thought he was great. It felt like Scotty to me. It felt like he looked like Scotty.
You pointed this out. He's the first actor who's actually Scottish to play Scotty.
I noticed that. That was definitely great. I mean,
it's kind of jarring, an authentically Scottish accent coming out of Scotty, though.
I mean, my thing is there was so much right about it. Like, I like him. Like, it's just because I really love Scotty. There's a few bits which I want to see going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, first of all, something he can't help, but it's like he is a bit young for Scotty. Scotty's always been slightly older than the rest of the crew. Even in the A-Round ones, like they had Simon Pegg, who is a bit older than the rest of the crew. That's canonical. Like, even reference, like, Kirk out says when a man of Scottish years, okay, he was in his 40s, but like, when a man of Scottish years,
Scotty was always, you always got the impression he was a bit more world weary, and
because I think it would have been cool here if like he'd been a bit older and maybe he had seen some more. as a nod to James Doohan, because I like it when they bring in little nods to the original people who played him, and he was a war veteran. That would have been but anyway.
And that would work with the Klingon War having just happened.
So that would have been nice. But I would like to see, and I know again it's a young Scotty, so you don't need it all, but a little nod to how sturdy. That's the word which keeps coming to my mind. James Doohan's version was always very sturdy, very kind of upright.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's something you suddenly learn. I think that's part of you. I would like to see that seen through. We haven't seen that yet from him. Okay, yeah, he's in the middle of the war, so fair enough. But it's like I'd like to see a bit of that in him.
A bit more sort of confidence in his convictions. Like in this, he's a bit sort of spluttery. He's like, oh, well, you know, I read this and I did that. And it's almost like he's a little bit sort of shy, whereas James Doohan was always just like, right, well, I rigged the warp core, and if you don't fucking like that, fuck off. You know? Yeah,
it's like, I mean, again, this first crack, like, it was only in one episode, but it's like in the Kelvin movies. Again, going back to Simon Pegg.
Mm-hmm.
To begin with, they played him too comedy for me.
Yeah.
Like it was a great turn. I enjoyed it as a character, but it wasn't really Scotty to be that comedic and I'll get my hands on the amp on the cells. But by the second one, it was a bit more staid. And by the third one, when Simon Pegg was writing for him as a lifelong Star Trek fan, and he wasn't trying to put Star Wars into it, which J.J. Abrams has admitted he was trying to put some sensibilities from that. It was written very much more like Scotty, and I knew Pegg could play that, but
this might be controversial, but I felt Simon Pegg's Scotty was the weakest of the Kelvin cast.
Probably
in terms of feeling close to the character, and
by the end it was better, much better.
It was.
It was better by ends. I think it's because it was so. I think it was so bad in the first one. Is the problem?
It felt to me.
I agree.
It felt to me like stunt casting. It were like Simon Pegg's a big Star Trek fan, big geek. He's mates with J.J. Abrams, and it just felt like a bit of stunt casting, and it just never quite sat right with me.
It was when he started doing lines like in the second one where he goes like, "Oh, the torpedo's going." It's like, Jim, if you do this, and he goes, "Don't do that." Like,
that's good.
I felt James, or at least felt Scotty. Yeah. And in the third one, there was moments like that. But and like it. I like the fact that it wasn't quite a love interest, but it sort of was with the any woman on the planet. And it was just so nice. It was feelings of Scotty with that, but not so much in terms of, with this guy again. It's getting there, but it's like I want a bit more of that.
I've just thought in the Kelvin verse, she'll probably get killed when he gets possessed by Jack the Ripper. So tragic end for that character. But no, I really enjoyed him. I thought. I want to see where they go with him, but straight away I felt like that feels like Scotty to me. Whereas Kirk, obviously, we talked at length about Paul Wesley, and it didn't quite. I feel like I can see Kirk in him now, whereas it took me 4 episodes or whatever to get there. Whereas Scotty, I'm like, that's fine. I could much like with Ethan Peck, really. It was just like, no, I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with him.
And I also think he plays the character.
We know that. Yes. Look, we've had official complaints about you two arguing about Spock, so we're keeping it to a minimum today.
I've heard.
Yes. So they come up with this plan, and we're going to go fit the retro boosters on they're going to crash the saucer into the Gorn thing, which I think is a pretty cool idea. And it does the classic that no human can do it, so it's got to be Spock.
Like when I was thinking, why can no human do this? And then I watched him go over, and he goes over in a suit, and he puts a rocket in a place.
He does,
and that's it.
I mean, there's two things.
And I was thinking, why is he the only person on the ship who could possibly do that?
I mean, the thing which didn't make sense to me is like if a human can't do it, I mean, they basically played him as a human anyway, so he can't do it either. I mean. Being a Vulcan doesn't count for anything anymore. Like they're not strong.
It's me who's being good.
They should have gone like, no human can do it. Okay, we'll get Ensign the green fella and send him
over. Can I ask a
over.
sincere question? Joking aside, do you like? For me, I want this to be the end of Spot Pool. I just don't give a shit about that. Like, I didn't really to begin with. I certainly don't anymore.
Yeah.
They played it to death. Like you said about putting in power, that's part of. It's always part of their little dances.
Yeah.
Her being in danger and him rescuing, or her rescuing him when he goes human.
It shouldn't be. She should. She can be in danger, but don't expect me as a member of the audience to get that jeopardy that you're wanting.
But
I've been watching Star Trek for probably 45, 46 years now, possibly longer. And I know she's a legacy character. You can't make me feel any jeopardy.
No,
that she's going to be dead.
That, but I was meant more on the romantic side. You made that point very well.
I think them splitting up and him locking himself up and becoming sort of controlling his emotions more, and then not wanting anything to do with her again. And I think that ties in perfectly to mock time when Bones goes through that you never stop trying.
Yeah,
she's always trying to get back with him. That she realizes.
I think that's it.
Mistake she made, and he's just never interested in going back to that.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is now they've had this little moment in this episode, because this is a two-parter.
Yeah.
So we can deal with it in the second part, and I think Spock will say something like, he'll say something like, I've got feelings for you and I've realised that, but I don't want to tap into that side of myself anymore. And that's why it's over.
Yeah.
And then she'll be upset and
she'll
go off and
she's
have a rebound romance with Roger Corbin. Let's just hope he doesn't dabble in robotics.
Yeah, he might get engaged really quick.
So the only thing which they could do to really make it make sense of the original series, and I don't think these writers would do it, because it is quite a brave move, but they'd have to then break up. It's so uncomfortable. They never talk to each other like that. Really never.
We can't even be friends.
Because they weren't friends really in the original series.
Yeah.
She fancied him. There was no suggestion really they'd have a relationship, but fine, we'll fudge that. You can fudge that.
You can fudge that, and it does.
But they have to be so cold to each other.
It might,
and I don't think they'll do it.
That might be where it. I think they might. I think they might have Spock asking her to keep that distance from him. Say I don't want to tap into that side of myself, but
I don't think these writers can keep their hands off his emotion chip.
I don't know. I think they might surprise you. We never know.
I hope so. I'm not to be surprised.
But to Elliot's point about putting Chapel in danger, it's about 3/4 of this episode in before we get the reveal that Chapel's alive, and it's not a reveal. It's like we knew she was alive.
There's at no point I doubted that she was off. That she was never going to be okay by the end of this story.
Yeah.
No, exactly, and
also. Again, like on my theory about if you're going to kill someone off and get it from another universe, Chapel's open for that. Like, it's not like we knew a lot about her backstory.
Yeah.
She was there. We know she's alive. But, no one's going to have written an official biography of her or anything.
We're about to make Jess Bush. Don't be killing her off.
But she just comes in as the other one.
My working theory...
That explains why they're so cold to each other as well.
My working theory is not that Chapel's going to die, but she's going to be in some sort of accident and be horrifically scarred. And then when
what are you saying about Major Brown?
And then when they're doing the reconstructive surgery, she's going to say, "Make me look like Una."
Yeah.
And that's why they both were played by the same actress. So that's where I think it's going.
I thought it was just being mean about Major Brown, like hideously scarred. I was like, Jesus, I thought she was quite a candy looking.
So did Gene Roddenberry. That's why she played every third character in Star Trek for quite a while.
And Gene also thought the same about her.
He did, and he wanted to think the same about both of them at the same time. But Michelle Nichols was not happy about this. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Even though all 3 people involved in that are dead now, I just want to make sure.
But Major Barrett, what was that? Major Barrett was definitely right up for it. Says Edgy.
Well, so we've heard. Anyway. How do we feel about the young Gorn being called younglings? I feel like that's a very loaded word to use in a sci-fi show. And I think good on the writers for using it, but it does have a bit of notoriety from a certain other franchise.
Yeah, it could be a little dig, couldn't it? This little green alien. There's all these little green aliens that we've got going around, younglings. But as we know, if you wanted to get rid of the younglings, if only Anakin Skywalker were there, he'd have this all gone younglings sorted out quicker than you could. But yeah, I just thought I know there's only so many sci-fi words that you can use, and it's like every time you're watching something, if they use replicant, I'm like, no, that's from Blade Runner. Yeah, that's
like, you can't use that, but it's like, no, you can. It's just in a different context. But I just thought it's a very interesting. I just personally, were I a writer, which I'm not, but I could be because I'm not Writers Guild of America affiliated. So if you want a TV show writing over the next few months, it's not scabbing.
Yeah, we're indie film and TV makers.
Yeah, we're so indie that we've never made a film or TV show.
Hey, we do podcasts.
We do podcasts.
Our film models.
I've gone into the audiobook world.
Yeah.
You know what? We should give that guy who did Night Driver a call.
Hey,
for anyone who's not watching Night Driver on Amazon Prime, we support your indie film.
We've got the other half of it to watch this week.
We have got I can't believe we only watched half of it. It felt a lot longer than 45.
Have you ever wondered what Knight Rider set in London
with Kung Fu?
With Kung Fu
would look like
samurai swords and ninjas.
We got to
it's Knight with an N, not a K. So it's totally different.
We got to the point where the ninja disappeared underground and started burrowing like Bugs Bunny. And then they started teleporting all over the shop, and we were like, that's quite enough.
We're going to save some action.
You have delighted us long enough, Night Driver. We will save it. Anyway, that's your retrek recommendation for the week.
And as always, I just want to Larmageddon. Please, you owe it to yourself.
Check out Larmageddon. Yes, so Chapel and Spock then, and the alien, the Gorn, Freudian slip, does that bit. There's a shot where Spock's in the foreground, the Gorn tail comes down in the background, and the camera pans round and it's hanging off the ceiling. It's just the same framing, it's the same shot as from Alien, and I know, they're not going to get away with going, oh yeah, we won't rip an alien off. So they've obviously gone, let's just do it as an out-and-out homage. But you already did that in the Gorn episode last season.
I think that also, if you develop, this is what they're going to be like, from one episode, you sort of almost type yourself into this.
You do, but it's you've made the point that you're ripping off Alien. Can we try and do something a little bit more
original? Well, no, you can't, because
you've
made them like that now.
You don't have to copy the exact.
You make a good point, though. I think that when I look back at this episode, the things which I enjoyed about it were individual scenes, not the overall plot. The overall episode felt. It felt a lot long in places. I didn't feel just didn't quite feel as satisfying as the overall plot.
No,
there's a nice little touch where we've actually passed it, but when they're talking about flinging the saucer at the Gorn, and it's Una who comes up with it, number one, and then I can't remember her name, the engineer. Pelia goes to her. If you'd come up with that in the exam, they're giving you an A+.
Yeah, that was a nice callback.
I think she's going to have lots of those little lines to Una now.
Yeah.
And it just seems enough because it's the way Uhura talks to her into helping her, it's like it goes, crazy schemes I like.
It was a nice payoff to something that was set up much earlier in the season. Yeah, I like that.
So was when she saw Scotty, really, because it was like, my favourite student, because she'd done to take the piss out of Una, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, but it's something nice that you say to people. You answered my question. But with that, it's like, my best student with the worst grades, and that would be Scotty, because he'd be jury rigging and doing everything against the rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lovely touch.
Yeah.
That is,
right, it says it does this. But if I do this, and add this onto it, it suddenly does this.
Because funny enough, actually, I thought that line was probably the thing which established him as Scotty more than anything he did. Not he didn't do loads. It was just such a great line about Scotty.
It'd be your engineering exam. It'd be like, they give you a box of parts and go build a tricorder, and Scotty would build a warp engine out of it, which is more impressive, but it's not what you meant to do.
It also makes you a cappuccino.
Battelle, then, she didn't die, so I'm so glad no one took me up on my monetary bets last week.
I told you.
Got away with that. But she has been egged, because it's totally not like Alien. So she might die.
Well, I mean, I knew it was either going to be... Well, I didn't know it was going to be a two-part. I didn't know they were going to have her with eggs, but I knew that... what I thought was going to happen was she was going to die right at the end to be the inspiration for Pike to be like going through some stuff next series.
We can still do that.
Yeah. And they sort of, like, they her peril was saved to the end.
Like, I'm not sure if she's even going to die.
No, I don't think she is.
I think no, she's got to do, because what are the options? Either she dies or but then if he gets his accident, does she go, I don't like you anymore with your flashing lights? And that just makes her.
But there could be something else which happens there.
Well, that's why he had no problem going off.
They could break. Yeah, that's it. He goes back and gets Vina.
Well, I think if she is going to die in the next episode, probably the next episode is going to be him having to learn to accept her death, like that she's going to die. Because it seems like they've set up that he's got some emotional issues. And it would fit with what they've laid down if he's the one kind of trying to save her against everything.
Yeah.
Whereas it's time to let go. And I think that's very Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's probably a more mature Star Trek story they could tell now. They couldn't in the original series. So this is what Stranger Worlds kind of exists for.
Yeah.
To tell stories they couldn't then, but they would have told the original series if they could have.
Or it goes really dark, and Pike's like, right, I'm going to find the Gorn that impregnated her, and I'm going to make it abort its own children with, because that's the only way to save her, basically, is to abort these Gorn children.
No, I've got it.
That's pretty dark.
What if this is the way it brings about peace? Because he manages to find a way with Mbenga to save the children, save her, like somehow get them out of there without killing her.
Yeah.
And that's what brings about peace. It's like, oh, you saved our children.
And then that ties into my theory I was talking to you, Elliot, about where Battelle's Gorn babies will go form an orphanage for abandoned lizard children, which many years later, Paris and Janeway's children will also attend.
Oh.
And that'll be the next Star Trek spin-off. There you go, Nickelodeon. You've cancelled Prodigy. Well, Nickelodeon didn't. Cancelled Prodigy, but Star Trek lizard babies. Think of all the merchandising. There you go. And you could get one of them eggs that's full of slime and it has a different lizard baby inside it. This could be the show.
You're just giving away gold here.
I know I am. But none of them can write it down because they're all on strike. Right. They're going to have to remember that.
I thought you were talking about me. No, I can't write anything down at the moment. I'm left-handed.
This is true. So the Gorn... A multi-pronged cliffhanger then. So the Gorn have abducted the crew.
Now, did you get that? It wasn't that they Gorn had got them straight away as soon as they beamed. You know when they bring down the transporter blocker? Did you get that the Gorn had got them everyone straight away?
No.
Because the transporter was a different colour, it was grey.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. When you watch it,
I got that straight away.
I'll be honest, I didn't notice until we watched it again this morning that it showed all of them beaming up. So.
Yeah, they all beam up in its green transporter. Well, so I got it straight away. But like, if you blink, you'll miss it. Because they bring down the transporter blocker and they go beam now, and they don't get anyone because the Gorn was on it quicker.
Yeah.
They didn't steal the signal mid.
So we've got that. We've got.
Probably works better technology-wise as well.
We've got some of the main crew are stuck on the Gorn ship.
Now this is real jeopardy.
Yeah.
Because Ortegas is one of the crewmen. Because it's been building up all season. She wants to go on an away mission.
Yeah.
She never gets to go on an away mission. And the irony is she goes on an away mission and that's it.
That would be nice. That'd be nice writing.
Well, I hope because I love.
But just in writing of the plot would be great.
And they also had that moment earlier on where he said, "You were born for this, Erica." That does feel now. Now you've planted that idea in my brain. Nice. It's like, was that a setup?
It all fits,
And she's the real jeopardy of this episode.
Yeah.
And even though it felt forced early on, they did have earlier on in the series her quite getting a bit fatigued about being pilot. I still don't think that fits anymore, but it would set up she really realised this is what she's born to do. Yeah, even more a sweet win, and then she does.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't.
I really hope they don't, because I
Nah.
love her as a character. I think she's a great character.
I was saying earlier to you guys,
But
I think she's what they wanted Paris to be.
Yeah,
She's more crazy
but
than him.
The thing we've got, like, they killed Tender after season 1.
They did.
Who wasn't a legacy character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You've got to take her. She's not a legacy character. You can kill her.
Yeah,
But yeah, just
No,
we
no,
watched Star
we
Trek
don't
6
want them to.
yesterday. So
No,
as
you
the
can't
president
kill her.
said, just
Well,
because you can do a thing doesn't mean we must do that thing.
let's go back to your thing last week. I mean, it's like it does feel like they just bring in all the original series characters. It's like let the Strange New Worlds crew breathe. Like,
Yeah.
Soon, if you have so many of the original series crew, then it's just there'll be no time for the plots for the original
And I
ones.
still want
Especially not with 10 episodes. For fuck's sake, if you're on 20 episodes, great, you've got air to fill. Why not? But
I still want to feel like Kirk assembled the crew to some extent.
assembles.
I don't want it to feel like Kirk just takes over Pike's crew.
I'm quite happy from that episode we had where we came on training.
Yeah.
Rhapsody. I'm quite happy from what he saw in that episode. A certain crew member say he thinks, yeah, I'd like to keep her as she's good. Yeah,
she's young up and coming as well.
Spock's
I get Spock, and I like Spock.
Gonna have to get rid of Lan, otherwise there might be a lawsuit.
But you can see where he's met some of the characters and he thinks, and you can see the things. But I don't want to have. I want Strange New Worlds. I don't want TOS yet.
Yeah.
It's a 5-year mission. Scotty, we know Scotty's coming on, but I want a season with Pirel first.
Pellier.
I want a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
With her.
I wanted her to have had an episode of her own in this series. That made me sad because like Hemner, who they were going to kill off, and it was good. They established him really well. He felt like I can't wait to see what he's going to do next. That was great. That was great bait and switch. How I'd like to, she's such a fun character.
I feel like Pellier has been designed to be a transitionary character to bring Spock in now. But if it's both of them,
I would like her to be the mentor to him, to build the Scotty we know, and
we've now got a situation where Scotty hasn't got a ship anymore.
No, true.
His ship and crew have been wiped out by Gorn. He's been looking to get away. So he's looking for a new ship to serve on.
That's something I would have liked in this episode. And maybe we'll get it in the concluding part, is to show the moment when Scotty first walks into the Enterprise's engineering, and just to see how the look on his face, like he's fallen in love with this engine.
That's what I was just about to say.
I'm quite happy for him to have a couple of seasons as Lieutenant Scott.
Yeah.
And be getting used
right to the end of the series. I want him to stay in that role.
And that she moves off, and it's like, who do you recommend for new chief engineering? Kirk's maybe looking through, and then it's I've got this guy.
I think it's both of those. I think it's just going to happen. I don't think because by then we just know. But that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think when he gets in the Enterprise, I want him to fall in love, and I want that to be really apparent from the start. That is such a touchdown of Scott.
Yeah, that's it.
He was in love with the Enterprise right from get-go. Every episode. Yeah. When they didn't even speak about love, you could feel the love.
That's it. Like, I think I would like to see him established as the engineer before Kirk comes on, because you always got that impression that
he was there
in
before.
Scotty's mind, the Enterprise was his ship. Kirk is just someone
Kirk just sits in a chair at the top.
Exactly.
That's why he didn't care about being captain, because he was the real captain.
Yeah, exactly.
The Enterprise is his ship, but he just lets someone up. He lets someone give commands of what he's going to do, but
it's almost like Kirk was the commander of the crew. He was the commander of the ship.
That's it.
And that fit really well. It never felt like there were odds either.
No, there was no odds about it.
They both loved what they were doing. They both loved the combined things. Like, he loved the ship to protect the crew, and Kirk loved the crew. And the ship didn't make it. That was saddened him.
That's because he learned to connect to his crew.
Yeah.
By the medium
which he didn't show any signs of having any job with, but we'll ignore that.
So the other sort of things going on with the cliffhanger, like they throw everything at it really fast. Like, obviously we've got everything blowing up. where Starfleet is telling him they can't cross the
Withdraw.
line.
He tells him to withdraw.
Yeah, April says you have to withdraw. And then this goes back to what I was saying about Pike earlier, because there's a very long, it's probably only actually a few seconds, but it feels,
I think it's about 10 seconds.
it feels a huge amount of time with Pike basically dithering, like we have him looking at the screen, thinking.
They're getting shot. There's explosions going on. There's an order coming from Admiral April. He's got his crew going, orders, please, Captain.
That's why I think it has
you get
to
court
be,
martial for that level.
yeah,
of
like it has to be deliberate, because they've had Una prompt him.
Yeah.
So when I say the writers have called attention to it, like it could have just been that they were trying to drag the dramatic beats
that's what
out.
I felt, but that's what I like about your theory, because it's like,
But
I'm glad that didn't occur to me, because now hearing that from you, that's great.
But,
That's
yeah.
so great. But I like it. I do like it when they kind of trick you. They trick you when they do it well, when everything works after you realise how the trick works. Because sometimes you do it and go, but that still doesn't make sense why you did that. Whereas with your theory, it will work that we feel like, oh, for fucking hell, the X Factor again. They're holding it for 10 seconds. No, it's like, the winner is going to be an X Factor 2023. Like, yeah,
you know what? I'll be honest, right? Ever since Dermot left the X Factor, I don't feel like I know when my weekend starts.
Right,
because he used to say your weekend starts right here. And he
I
used
know
to
who
like,
Dermot is, but
Dermot
because I had never
O'Leary.
seen an episode of X Factor, I had no idea he'd ever hosted it.
he used
And I
to,
equally had no idea that he no longer hosted it.
he used to say, well, it's no longer a show, but
I also had no idea.
he
that it
used to
cancelled.
say your weekend starts right here, and he'd do a little spin round, and that was when I knew my weekend started. But ever since, I just
You get some money, you think, wow.
I've no fucking
Yeah, I
idea.
didn't have a fucking weekend.
Didn't even start.
I mean, I haven't known since Top of the Pops came on. It's Friday at 6:30. It's Top of the
Exactly.
Pops.
There you
Oh,
go.
weekend started.
Exactly.
See, Top of the Pops never used to be a weekend
No, it's
program.
for
It
Thursdays.
used to be Thursdays because you used to be able to talk about it at school, who'd been on.
When did it switch to Friday? Because
Oh,
I think
quite
I might
late.
remember now
Quite
saying,
late.
yeah.
Quite late.
Yeah, late on in it.
Ooh.
Yeah,
But I'm, of course,
Ooh.
much younger than.
So,
Oh, well, you
Just don't mention any of the hosts of Top of the Pops, otherwise we could get in trouble.
yeah, it's weird when they do the repeats now on BBC 4. There's like 3 episodes in
Yeah, it's
circulation.
really odd, isn't it? So as I say, the thing, like I said, that makes it not dragging on the dramatic beat is the fact that they have Una.
So it doesn't drag on.
Does not drag on. They have Una proactively say, orders, Captain, so she has realised that he's taking too long with this decision. And you would only have your main character put in that situation and display that level of incompetence, really, if you're going to do something dramatically with that. So I'm looking forward to where it goes. Yes, Hedgie.
Do you think that they're... Sorry,
I think he's
do
going
you think they're hedge on their bets? Hedge on!
I think he's going to do both things. He's going to withdraw
I don't
and
think
then
they're
come
hedging
in, and then
it,
come
no.
in hard and attack
Hedge
them.
No, I appreciate that you want to make hedgehog-based puns, Hedgie, but I don't feel that was appropriate for this moment in time.
on!
Though I do approve of your staunch support of the writers and actors' strikes. Solidarity. So I thought it's not up there with Best of Both Worlds cliffhanger-wise, but it's a decent one. What's been funny is seeing people online who've only sort of seen New Trek going, you can't end a season on a cliffhanger. It's like, that's literally what always used to happen.
Yeah.
That's how TV's always worked.
Yeah.
It's like,
Good
I mean,
TV always used to work
It's
like
funny,
that.
like you had the serialization. I mean, Dallas was the first one, I believe, to do it end of series into the next series, because before that, you had to wrap up. Like it was
Usually.
Yeah, well, it was a big thing because I didn't realize this until I saw a program about it, and then the more I thought about it, it's like, all right, because they used to wrap up series because just in case it got cancelled or whatever.
Yeah. Which more shows should do these days.
I mean, so Cheers. There was a few. No, Cheers was after it.
Cheers
was after Dallas.
It crossed over.
Probably a little bit, yeah.
But
I'm not sure. Anyway,
like,
they soft did it sometimes.
it's really annoying because there's a lot of shows that are made now. Netflix is terrible for it, where they'll let them do a cliffhanger ending and then cancel the show. It's like They need to start going to shows. Right, you're being renewed, so you can have a cliffhanger. You're not being renewed. Wrap it up. And because I'm getting to the stage now where new shows, I don't want to start watching them straight away in case I get invested in it.
Yeah.
And it gets to a cliffhanger, and then some wanker in an office goes, "Oh, it's only had 100 million people watch it, so we're cancelling it."
It's
weird.
weird.
If it's one which you've already got sets for and isn't too expensive, I don't think it hurts them to do what they did with like Sense8. Sense8 was it?
Sense8, yeah, where they did
a TV movie to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But in that case, the reason why they got away with doing that was because there was a big campaign after they cancelled it. It was actually doing pretty well. It seems a bit nonsensical one, but anyway. But that one's a really expensive one to do. So fair play to their fans that they managed to get them to do it, because that would not that TV movie. But if you just got standing sets and stuff and you can do it, why not put an ending to it? Because then it's more sellable to other like TV or whatever. And later, if you don't want
the streaming models made it even more difficult, because what used to happen with your network shows is your show would be airing as you were still filming more of it,
so you'd know how it was doing.
So you'd know generally how it's doing and maybe get a bit of a sense how you're doing it. Whereas now the shows are done, dusted, but they can be aired months later. And Netflix aren't going to make a decision until after it's dropped and been out there for a while. So it must be very difficult.
But the figures that they're looking on is absolutely crazy. Like, you get shows being cancelled with 80 million people watching. It's like, back in day, like the record viewership, I think, for ever in the UK is about 30 million. And it was Christmas Day, Only Fools and Horses. And you used to get like shows in America, they'd be getting 10, 12 million.
Yeah.
And running for years and years on that.
But I guess what we don't know though is because if those figures, that the 18 million whatever, is worldwide. So I don't know what worldwide was on that one, which exported really well. Maybe like it did get hundreds of millions.
And the thing is, it's different as well. So it's not just about viewers. It's about whether that show drives people subscriptions.
Subscribe.
Or you get merchandise off it, or how bankable it is.
Are these 80 million people watching it because they've watched everything else and they need something to watch? Or are they watching it because it's to do with when people watch, and it's crazy.
While Star Trek is under Paramount Plus, which I think is going to go under sometime, and they're going to have to go somewhere else. But anyway, while it is, the good thing for them is there's probably a lower threshold of views they have to get over to make it worth the money, because they can sell merchandise. Now, obviously, viewers try to buy the merch, but it's it's keeping Star Trek alive and keeping that merchandise alive.
Do you know what merch I would have bought? Prodigy.
Yeah.
Paramount.
Yeah.
I wanted a protostar where the little vehicle came out of the thing and you could transform the nacelle for the extra nacelle to come out.
And I'll say, I think it's one of the most consistent Star Trek shows. It was every episode was great.
Yeah,
and it filled me with joy and wonder, like I was watching Star Trek as a kid.
So
it's one of those I just can't understand why it was cut.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Because they did shit advertising.
You've got writers and actors on strike, so new material's not going to be produced for a while. Oh, if only you had a second season of an established popular show that you could put on while we're waiting.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that about does it?
I think it does.
But I think we need one more plug for Destination Trek. So if anyone's coming down, come and say hi. If you're not going to the other talks, if you want to go see Jess Bush, fine. We'll let that one go.
Sorry, were you advertising? Oh, seeing Jess Bush, sorry.
Yes. So, if you want to go see one of the stars of Strange New Worlds instead of us, we'll allow that.
I thought you said Jess's. Sorry.
I know what you wish. You wish.
Yeah, I'm just going to really nail the joke.
I'm going to tell her you said that.
Oh, yeah, because I'm sure she's never had that joke before.
Yeah, no.
She's like, wow, that's her original. No one's ever really.
No, she'll just click her fingers and bodyguards will come and dump you where all the other benefits are.
What? So you enjoyed having one broken arm so much you want the other limbs to match?
There you go. Anyway, we'll wrap up there then. we won't do as usual plugs. Obviously, we've got the Dr. Squeeze Show. We've got
Retrek Pod.
Retrek
Model Studios.
Retrek Model Studios, Retrek Pod, Facebook group. You know all the stuff. But most importantly, come and see us at Destination Star Trek,
where we'll be playing Top Trumps.
We will be playing Top Trumps.
Star Trek Top Trumps.
And there's been no orange.
And thanks for trekking with us this time. We will see you next time at the Destination Trek. Thank you.
Drag on a hitch on LLAB! Yay! Can we get this?
Fascinating.
And bonus content. Right, we
I did the other day.
better get ready and get a taxi.
We're out. I'll try to sing first.